You know, it's been quite some time since I did an episode of Hidden Gems on this channel, and I found a really good game at my favorite local video game store called Summon Night 2 Swordcraft Story 2. Or it's Summon Night Swordcraft Story 2, however you want to interpret it. And it's funny, I never realized that I never actually talked about the first Summon Night game, Swordcraft Story 1, or just Summon Night Swordcraft Story. This is an RPG series that is still ongoing to this day. I believe they're on Swordcraft or Summon Night 6. Now, I am not certain if there's a sub-series of, like, you know, Swordcraft, Axecraft, Guncraft, whatever. But the two that I have are Summon Night Swordcraft Story 1 and Swordcraft Story 2. Now for this, I really have only played the first game in the series, or at least the first game in the series to me. I'm not sure if there's some Japanese exclusives out there, but if you can find either of these two titles for the Game Boy Advance, it's truly an amazing hidden gem. It's an RPG series made by Atlus, and if you know anything about games, you know that Atlus is really big on awesome RPGs, most notably Persona, Shin Megami Tensei, Devil Summoner, all these awesome RPG series. And Summon Night is one of those very rare series of games that really is a hidden gem because not a lot of people know about. And either of the games in the series can fetch quite the high price. So what makes this game so good? Well, first things first, the world around it is your typical RPG. You know, there's like a lot of water everywhere, some sort of post-apocalyptic deal going on. But it's the story and character development that really ties everything together. And the gameplay's pretty good too. In Swordcraft Story 1, you play as a blacksmith. Your goal is to become the best blacksmith in all the land. So you enter a tournament where you have to fight other blacksmith apprentices to see who's going to be the best. And of course, you know, subplot gets in, people get betrayed along the way, there's a whole like, summoning monsters and all that, whatever. Your typical RPG stuff. But it is presented in a way that is still fresh, even with this oversaturation of RPGs, especially now in the year 2019. In the beginning of the game, you answer a little questionnaire showing, you know, how you feel about your father, who is this great hero who's died, or these, you know, other things about yourself, and it's like a personality test. And with that personality test, you get a specific summon creature that aids you in battle. They can do different spells, upgrade your weapons a certain way. And though I've only really played with the one because the fire guy's my favorite, the other ones have very unique interactions with you as well, so you really don't get the same game twice. You can play the game 4 times and have 4 different experiences. Also, to add into that, at the end of every chapter there's an option to go talk to a certain character, getting a bit of lore or a bit of character development. And while none of these really affect the main plot in any way, it's really interesting to see, you know, oh, this is a really rude character who's your rival, but maybe he's not quite as bad as I think him to be. Now with any RPG, the most important thing that drives everything together is combat. The combat's tight. Combat's real tight. It's a sort of a side-scroller kind of deal where you pretty much go back and forth with enemies on the screen, and one thing that's cool is the weapon system. So you have weapons, you can equip multiple at a time, from axes, swords, lances, drills, and then knuckles. My personal favorite is the drill because Tengen Toppa Gurren. But the drill has other effects too. If you break an opponent's weapon, which is easier with the drill, you actually get a copy of that so you can use that weapon. So, you know, you can take water lances, electric fists, and drills, and fire things, and wind weapons, and water axes, all kinds of cool stuff that you can get if you break them. But it's up to you how to play. You don't have to use swords, you don't have to use lances. You can use the weapons you want. And some are customizable with certain element upgrades depending upon what spirit beast you get. While the RPG market is fairly oversaturated, especially now, it's really refreshing to find a game like Summon Night Swordcraft Story. It's unique and quirky, it's very entertaining, and it's got that really awesome Atlus feel to it, from its story to its characters to its gameplay. Again, it does fetch quite a high price, but I think it's worth it. I guess all I gotta do now is see how the sequel is. Well, thank you guys so much for watching this new episode of Hidden Gems, and I will see you guys in the next one.